Good afternoon and welcome to the Luminato Festival. My name is Jorn Weisbrod and I'm the artistic director. And welcome to the Festival Shed, the first time that we have this indoor venue here at David Pico Square in our Garden of Light, our festival hub. And I know it's a little warm in here, but we do have an air conditioning, which I'm very proud of. Unfortunately, Toronto's summer and weather is so beautiful that it does get a little bit warm. I'm very proud to introduce the beginning, the first TimeTalks, Luminato TimeTalks. This is our third year of a collaboration with the wonderful New York Times. And we have a series of 3 talks today. And the first talk today at 2 p.m., as you know, is Nelly Furtado with Ben Cesario. Yes, Nelly Furtado. And the reason why Nelly is doing this, I mean, apart from the fact, of course, that we love her, is that she's part of a project that is happening at the Air Canada Centre tomorrow and the day after called Contemporary Color. David Byrne's sort of latest project, and I'm sure that her and Ben Cesario are going to talk a little bit about that project, and there's still tickets available. The ACC is a pretty large house. It's our first substantial project in the Air Canada Centre, which I'm very excited about. I want to thank, before introducing my friend and colleague Carol Day from the New York Times, I want to thank all our volunteers who are really sort of the oil in the engine of this festival. You see them walking around in the green T-shirts that say volunteer on them, and they can answer your questions, and thank you to our sponsor Manulife for supporting that program. I also want to thank Oxford Properties and Roy Thompson Hall for letting us play in their backyard, and a special thanks also to our founding government partner, the province of Ontario, our major partners, the Government of Canada and L'Oréal Canada, and presenting partners, the City of Toronto and CIBC. And here's Carol Day from the New York Times, and enjoy this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Jorn. And hello, everyone. We're delighted to be here with TimeTalks at the festival. It's such an exciting year to be here. We're live here on our stage at the Festival Shed, and we're live around the world on the web at timestalks.com. And as Jorn said, today we are so excited to have these TimeTalks here with fantastically talented and amazing women who've made a contribution to the arts. And to have such exciting and multi-talented performer and Grammy-winning artist with us right now. You'll hear much more about her and her work in just a moment from our moderator. New York Times readers count on him for the insider take on what to see and what to listen to. He spreads his knowledge of music by writing for the arts in the arts pages, covering music for the media section, and contributing to the popular weekly music podcast. He's also the author of the book Doolittle, about the Pixies album. Please join us in welcoming New York Times media reporter Ben Cesario and our very special guest, Nelly Furtado.
All right. How cool is it that we have Nelly Furtado on this stage right now?
Nice to see everyone. Thanks, Ben.
Nelly, we got a whole bunch of things to talk about, but I thought maybe we could start by just talking about your background.
Okay.
You grew up in Victoria.
I did, yeah,
but
Victoria.
But your parents are both from the same island in the Azores off Portugal.
Yes, they are.
Which just to say the word makes me think of what a beautiful place that must be.
Yeah.
But
the remains of Atlantis.
Ooh.
So they say.
Tell us about how this has sort of impacted your life and shaped you as a person and as a musician, your background and your Portuguese heritage.
Wow. Well, first of all, every time I go to the Azores and every time that like my feet touch the ground in San Miguel, I just feel like a different person. I just feel connected to my ancestors. My bloodline can be traced back there for like 600 years since it was, you know, since the beginning there in San Miguel. And I just, being Portuguese has been a big part of who I am too. You know, I'm a first generation kid, you know, my parents were immigrants, although I was born here. And they made sure I didn't forget where I was from. And I think the traveling there in the summertime helped for that, you know, and also it was very rustic. It's a rustic place. My aunt still has a matanza in her backyard every year, which is the annual pig killing ceremony where everybody makes sausages. And there's a week-long celebration for killing the pig you've raised all year. So, yeah, that's what it is. So I grew up around this sort of earthiness. Mm-hmm. So the other part was the music. My father used to take me to these things. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about fado music. It's a UNESCO World Heritage style of music, fado, because it's so old and so great.
Tell us a little bit for those who might not know about it.
Fado is the song of saudade, which is this Portuguese word that means longing. And it really has no direct translation. It's like nostalgia. There are Portuguese people that are nodding their heads. I see one. And
well,
so...
Isn't it sort of it's the sadness, but also the longing and
yes.
the memories?
Yes.
It's such a beautiful, rich
It's like
style.
reveling and being a drama queen, which I can connect to. No. No, that's not true. It's very beautiful. But in the islands... So our most famous fado singer is Amalia Rodriguez. She passed away about 15 years ago, I think. But anyway, my father would take me to an event that kind of looked like this, like where there'd be twinkly lights and it'd be a festa, like a Portuguese festival. And there'd be a stage and there'd be a couple of like 12-string guitarra players, Portuguese guitar, and there would be, you know, all these men in their hats with feathers and tweed coats and everything. And he would take me out and it'd be really late at night. And I'd see these people singing on stage and they would kind of be battling each other because the desafio style of fado, canções de desafio, especially when you bring that to like a village on an island, was kind of the rough and ready version of fado, where people were just kind of up there, just kind of telling stories about their neighbors, gossiping on stage and battling back and forth, and one would sing a verse, then the other would come right back. So I'd be like, John, you know, telling you about whatever happened last week, you know, at church or whatnot, and then you'd come back at me with a rebuttal. So to me, this felt very much, and then all of a sudden my father would appear on stage out of nowhere, and he'd be singing, you know, a bit of fado. And to me, it felt very spontaneous, and I think that's where I got my love of, like, the microphone, to just, like, the fact that, like, you could grab a microphone and be powerful. You could grab a microphone and kind of, like, change people's minds in some way. And that also gave me this idea for, like, this sort of free singing that I sometimes do, where the lyric and melody just comes to me all of a sudden. Like we're at Luminato, and I'm with Ben Cesario, and we are at the TimeTalks talking. You are all together, and whether it's the weather. No, it didn't bring the rain today, but I gotta say I thank you for coming. I don't need no drumming, I got you.
Wow! Wow. I gotta tell you, before you were in here, Nelly and I sat here for like half an hour sound checking, just talking, and this did not come up. This did not come up, but I love it.
Aw, thank you. Thank you to San Miguel.
That is wonderful. But did you bring this back when you went home to Canada? I mean, was the Portuguese side a big part of you living here?
That's such a good question. I really feel like to survive, you know, in that element of like my parents were from Portugal. One thing, I credit my mother because she always was like, you know, I'm in Canada, so I want to learn English, so I'm not going to talk to you guys in Portuguese at home. So she was always practicing her English, and we, you know, to this day, we're trading like fiction novels all the time, like, and she'll read her Paulo Coelho books in English, not Portuguese, you know. But she put us in Portuguese school, so she knew it was important for us to learn Portuguese, but she put us in night class. So we'd go to our English classes in English school during the day, and then 2 or 3 times a week we'd be, you know, up till 10 p.m. at Portuguese school. And it was hard at the time, but I'm really grateful because it's amazing to know another language. It's amazing to even be able to understand another Latin language. It's why I eventually sang in Spanish, because it came easy to me, you know, learning Spanish after I learned Portuguese. But the other flip side is I was lucky because I had friends who were from other sort of ethnic identities around me, other first-generation kids who were from every country, you know. And so I had more of a pan-ethnic identity, you know. I wasn't just Portuguese or just Canadian. I was something greater, you know. I was pan-ethnic, and it felt good, and it felt, you know. And that helped me because it made me like appreciate my Portuguese culture, but also it helped me assimilate into Canadian culture and kind of take the best of both worlds and kind of feel like I could live like sort of in equilibrium that way and appreciate both of them. Yeah.
You know, when your first album came out in 2000, one of the things that a lot of the reviews said and a lot of stories about you were like, hey, there's this girl, she kind of sings folk, she kind of sings world stuff, she kind of sings a little bossa nova, she raps a little. What is she? There was a certain kind of, you know, confusion. What was it like to, you know, to see that response? You know, I wonder if maybe some of the...
It was kind of funny because I was just making the music that I knew how to make, you know? I was like, this sounds like cool, like just putting sounds together and just... I was kind of conscious about it. Like what I wanted to do, I remember being really influenced by like Beck and Corner Shop and bands like that and kind of, but then equally like influenced by like Annie DeFranco or something. So I just kind of like thought, myself and Track and Field, the producers, the 3 of us worked as a team, as like co-producers, and we just like called all these sounds together and just, that was weird when people didn't know how to like put it in a box, but it was also great because I didn't fit into a box. You could make your own box, you know? That's what you do.
Did you do it consciously thinking, I'm going to have a really kind of like multi-culti approach and, you know, not fit into a box and sort of put more in my music than people can easily label?
I can't forget this one thing that happened. Like, I remember the time when I was making my first album. It was funny because I was talking to Rufus Wainwright about this the other night because we were at the Luminato opening, and we were talking about DreamWorks because DreamWorks was like this fantasy label. It was amazing. It was like the last of the Mohicans. It was like an amazing label with like amazing creative people and A&R all working there, and it was like...
I think he was one of the first artists.
He was, and I actually went there because he was there, and Elliott Smith. But, yeah. And but I remember when I would go around to labels, and when people are kind of like listening to your demo tape, and back then that's how it was. There was like, you know, a bunch of labels, and if they liked your demo, you wouldn't just meet with one label, you'd meet with more than one. Luckily for me, I got to meet with 6 or 7 or 8, and I'm like 20, you know, I'm like 20, you know, flying on a plane and staying at the, you know, the L'Hermitage, and they had, you know, fancy soap and shampoo, and I was like, this is awesome. And so my manager and I, at these meetings, what they would do is they would go, at the end of the meeting, they'd be like, do you want to go in the CD closet? And I'd be like, yeah. And they take you to the CD closet, and you get all these CDs. And some of them were stuff you had heard about, you know? But a lot of the CDs either never got released or had such a short release that all these amazing artists never really got their voice heard. And that made an impression on me because I said to myself, well, you know, these CDs are perfectly good. How come I've never heard of this artist? Because at the time, I guess labels were signing more acts. But I'd come home with all these records in my suitcase, these CDs, sorry, and they'd have like the promotional punch hole in them, you know, when they're for free. And I still needed rent money because, you know, it's a weird thing to have to fly to LA and then hold down a job. So, so I was like, I need to sell some CDs. So I'd go down to CD Characters. I think I had a boyfriend who worked there. Or I went to another one on John Street, actually. They had a CD place where you could sell your CDs. And I'd go there and sell my CDs sometimes if I didn't want them. But it made me think about, what kind of album do I want to make? Do I want to make a kind of album that ends up in the CD closet because for some reason the songs maybe didn't connect, or for some reason something happened? You know, you would ask questions and you'd find out, oh, this artist didn't really like doing interviews, or this artist, you know, didn't want to collaborate with A&R. So I kind of learned quickly that you have to be somewhat flexible. You have to understand that if you want your songs on the radio, you might have to listen to a few seasoned ears around you, but always follow your gut and be brave enough to make something different, but then you got to stand behind it. I had to fight to wear my shell toe Adidas in my first music video.
Oh.
I did. I had to be like, no, I don't want to wear a dress. That's stupid. Like, I want to wear my big Levi pants and my shell toes and my hair. I had to fight with, like, you know, Vogue magazine photographers, like, on photo shoots and be like, I don't want to wear that, and then change into, like, my Snug Industries, like, raver outfit. So, like, you have to fight a lot in the beginning to be different, but there's a way to do it where you have people on board with you, and you can kind of have a team behind you that kind of believes in what you're doing. You know, my manager was really supportive, and that helped. But yeah, like you said, yeah, it's not easy being different, but if you have a little bit of grit and you believe in what you're doing, you can figure it out. Yeah.
I want to talk about creativity.
Sure.
And,
I hope I answered your question.
That was a fascinating answer.
I did.
Right?
Did I?
I mean, here we are at a festival of creativity in the arts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you work, and I mean, how you collaborate with other people. I think that's a big part of how you have worked in the past, right?
Yeah.
How do you choose who you're going to work with and who does what?
Ben, if you told me you want to go to the studio right after, I'd be down. I'd go with you. It's as simple as that.
You can wear whatever you want.
For real, it's like, I love collaborating with people. For me, I feel like that's what music is. I don't know if it's because I wanted to be in a band like this whole past 15 years. So, because it'd be so much easier, right? There'd be like all these duties could be shared with everybody, you know? Imagine. A band would be fun. Yeah, so collaborations are fun. And they're always, like my first collaboration was, my favorite one was when I did Missy Elliott Get Your Freak On remix. I did that. Yeah, that was a big moment. Cause,
how did that happen?
You know, it's an interesting story. I hadn't met Timbaland at the time because this is like the year 2000, you know, 2001 maybe. And one of the people that I work with at the label, Mo Austin's son, Michael Austin, called us and said, Timbaland sampled your music. Timbaland sampled the ching ching part from Baby Girl, like the part that was like ba-da-ba-ba ching ching ching, ba-da-ba-ba ching ching. And so I'm like, wow, Timbaland sampled me? That's amazing. He's great. So Michael's like, Timbaland wants you to come to the studio and listen to the song he made out of your voice. And I was like, cool. So I got to the studio and Timbaland was there. And within like 10 seconds, all of a sudden I was in the vocal booth and like singing on the song, Ching Ching. And I did a feature on it for his artist, Miss Jade. But that was way before, you know. But that day he played me Get Your Freak On. And it hadn't come out yet. And he's like, hey, you know, since you did this for me, if you do this remix for Missy, I'm going to remix Turn Off the Light. So it's like a barter trade, you know. So I got a Turn Off the Light remix from Timbaland, and he got this remix for Missy, who had seen me in my shell toes on MTV. And said, who's this girl in jeans and shell toes? So see how it works? So that's how that happened.
And it wasn't because you had a label on you that said rapper or fly girl or something. It was because of sort of who you were.
Just something different, right? Who the heck is this, I think she said. And then, so she invited me, and I remember going down and going to the studio, and I remember feeling like it's the World Series. I gotta hit a home run here. And I love feeling like that in the studio. That's my very favorite feeling, when I'm like nervous and I have to like hit it out the park.
Sounds like pressure to me. But does it do the trick?
Yeah, it works every time. If I'm bored in the studio, that's a bad place. That's bad. So I'm in there, and I'm like, I got to hit it at the park. So anyway, I sat there, and I just tried to do the best possible thing I could do. And then it ended up being this, like, #1 remix, and people who had never seen my music video for I'm Like a Bird, like, they were playing it on stations where I'm Like a Bird wasn't getting played, let's just say. Like, it was, like, more of a rhythmic and urban radio at the time. Rap radio was still really big. And there were a lot of people that thought I was a young Jamaican boy when that came out. It's true. But it was good for my career because it gave me, you know, breadth. And people were like, oh, okay, she could do more than one thing or whatever. Yeah, but collabos are fun because you never know what's going to come out of them. I mean, one time I did a song with Michael Bublé. It's called Quando, Quando, Quando. And, you know, I dabbled in jazz, like in jazz band. But I never really sang anything near that genre. And, you know, that was really fun. That was a fun thing to do. I like challenges. You know, I did a version of Bésame Mucho recently with, see, I forget the names because I've done so many collaborations. But anyway, yeah, I've done my Spanish album has like 8 collaborations.
Yeah.
Like from flamenco singers to like, like bachata, you know, Juan Luis Guerra. Yeah, it's all over the map.
Well, I have here the insert for Loose, which was the album that you made with Timbaland.
Yeah.
And
so that was like fast forward 5 years later we made it.
Yeah. And as I was looking through it recently, I was looking at the it's so neat to look through liner notes now. You never really get to look through liner notes, but at the end there's the thank yous. And what you say in this, say, first of all, I want to thank all of the incredible producers that I was fortunate to work with over the last 2 years. Thanks for making this music business such a wild ride. You are the real rock stars. And it made me wonder because you've worked with a lot of really interesting producers.
Yeah.
You worked with Timbaland, you worked with Rodney Jerkins on their last album.
Yeah.
Salam Raimi, a lot of interesting people. I wondered when you're picking producers to work with, how do you do that? And sort of how do you how much of what we're hearing is from their direction, and how much of it is what you bring to it and your sort of idea and your direction?
So it depends. You know, in the beginning, my first 2 albums, I co-produced with Track and Field, and we were very much like a band, but I was the singer, you know? So we just would like work on this weird pastiche like of music, you know, like, oh, let's do a breakbeat and a banjo. Cool. And then try that. And just do different stuff. And that was really fun. But then by this time, I was like, you know, a new mom. I had like my toddler in tow, and it was like, let's go to Miami. It was awesome because we just like swam all day, and then at nighttime I'd go make these cool like sort of urban fun nighttime songs with Tim, and I just kind of let go. Timbaland is very decisive in the studio. I sit there and I write, you know, just what I did, like melodies and lyrics with Tim. Whereas the first album and the second album, I'd sit away and like maybe write more songs on my guitar. Like I'm Like a Bird, I wrote on my guitar, and then I bring it to the studio, and then we produce it. Turn Off the Light was the same way. Try was a song I wrote with Brian West on just guitar from my second album. So with Timbaland, it was different. He's like very rhythmic and very like, the music kind of like moves through him, and like he'll be dancing, and if he feels like he wants his hand to go like this, then he'll add another beat so his hand can go like this, and then he'll add another like sub bass so his head can go like this, you know. and then he wants to swing, so he'll add like another little, you know, mid sort of percussion sections. That's how it goes. That's how he does it. It's just guttural, yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. Like, talk about exciting. That was really exciting because it was new to me, right? It was exciting and new. And it's all about timing. Some producers are great when they're in a certain mindset. Like for me, like Tim and I were listening to the same music. He was listening to, you know, like Block Party and Death from Above and a little bit of Coldplay and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I was listening to the same stuff. And I was like, you know what? We need to do something sexy, but kind of like electro, but sexy, but urban, but this, but dark. And then we're just on the same wavelength. It's just wavelengths. You know?
I mean, when you like first walked into the studio with him or first phone call or whatever, did you say like, all right, look, I want to make a sexy dance record. I want a lot of big beats on this.
No, not really. It just is. You know, I was just happened to be in a bikini all day long and then go to the studio. So it was just the mindset. When you have a tan, you just feel a certain way. But you know what I mean? Come on, tell me. When all of you are on vacation, like you're in Mexico or something, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't know what's come over me." You know, you have your... That's what it is. And that's what this album is. It's true. Not gonna lie.
Well, you know, again, reading through sort of the reviews and interviews with you at the time this came out, the one reaction that comes through again and again and again is sort of, hey, wait a second, we thought you were kind of this like folk rock girl, and we thought you know, we thought you were kind of a Lilith Fair singer, and now, you know, you've got this like banging, you know, R&B record, and you're showing skin. What's going on here? Was it frustrating to get that reaction?
Kind of, because I was like, have you never been to my live show where I wear like a sparkly little top and I, you know, do like an LL Cool J cover and choreograph dance moves? Like I just felt it was weird because I felt like it was all there. But I will admit that more of the straight up R&B stuff was not there before because I kind of left that behind in like grade 10. Like I used to write songs that were pretty much really influenced by like, you know, Mariah Carey or TLC or something like that, or Belle Biv DeVoe or something. And then, but that was like in high school. And then I kind of knew that I could kind of flow into R&B and hip hop if I felt like it. But I just didn't really consciously choose to do that on my first 2 albums. So by this time, I was like, yeah, sure, why not try that on? I'm good at it. I can do it. And that's why I did it. I felt like I could do it.
Did it feel unfair to you that the music industry was sort of, you know, scratching its head and the media was sort of saying, we thought we had you figured out, now you're throwing us for a loop?
No, I thought it was educational for me because I was like, oh, that's how the media works. I was like, oh, you get like totally judged. That's okay. Like, you know, like it's a weird thing, right? You're like, oh, well, I was just making a record, but I don't know. You get used to it. You gotta take it with a grain of salt because it's like I've learned that too. Like now, what I do is I consciously, before I judge somebody, like in their music, like I try to at least go check out a couple of their music videos, like go read their Wikipedia, read about them, read an interview, catch a live performance. Like I feel like you have to get the full scope, and that's why I don't feel like it's fair for me to judge another artist until I've seen a live performance, listened to some music, seen an interview, read about where they come from and their background, because what we miss sometimes in media and sound bites and blurbs, we don't get context, you know what I mean? And that's an issue for me from the beginning, like, because even with my first record, I was like, yeah, I love Caetano Veloso, and I love, you know, Milton Nascimento, and journalists would be like, who? What are you talking about? Because this is pre-internet. Nobody could, like, Google this stuff, you know? You had to, like, genuinely know about that culture. And so I was like, well, no one's going to get it anyway, but I'll keep talking about it, you know?
2 of the most famous Brazilian songwriters there.
Yeah. So when this came out, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're just judging it based on the song title. But then I was like, well, Nelly, you did call the album Loose, and the second Man Eater, and these titles, right? So, I don't know.
Did you feel
you can't really, but yeah, of course it's unfair, but that's being a woman in the world sometimes, and in the music business. It's like, come on, we're still working through that. We're working through that, you know? We'll get there.
Well, I mean, what
We'll
has
get
it been
there.
like for you as a woman in the music business and in pop?
Well, I will say I never really thought of myself as a woman in the music business. Like when I look at like my poster of Mary J. Blige on the wall when I was 13, I didn't think of her as a female artist. I just thought of her as an artist. So, I don't know. I always enjoyed the company of men and women and just kind of on an intellectual level and a musical level and our creative level. So, I just took that approach. Like, sometimes you do have to be one of the guys when you're making music. Like when I was a little kid sneaking out to watch my friend DJ, you know, you don't want to be like sexualized. You want to put on your hoodie and kind of your baggy jeans and like fit in so they'll see that you're here enjoying the music and you're not, you know, like, but that was back then. I don't know, that's changed.
What about the Ani DeFranco fan in you?
I love her. I mean, I so badly wanted to like be brave enough to like, you know, like run away from home and start your own label and move to New York and all the cool things she did with her, you know, Righteous Babe record label. But I knew I wasn't quite strong enough. And I was like, I don't think I could do it. And at the time, I just really wanted to support my family. Like I grew up real working class and everybody always told me I was a good singer and everybody told me I wrote good songs. So I was like, well, maybe I can make a living at this. And then like, you know, my mom and dad wouldn't have to work so hard in physical labor and like get carpal tunnel syndrome flipping a mattress at the motel, you know? So I actually, and I think this is a common theme with a lot of pop musicians, I think they actually get into it because they love music, but they also kind of want to, you know, be the breadwinner for their family or just kind of like make things better. Because I couldn't go to college. I wanted to go to college and study writing, but I didn't have any money saved up. So I was like, well, I guess I could get a student loan, but maybe if I make music, I could make enough money to go to college. And then I just like never went back until recently.
You may have been the first person to ever have that thought. If I make enough money doing music, I can go to college. But who knows?
It's genuine, though. I really did. I thought that. I don't know. So, but it was good because it gets you really earnest, right? Because you're going to work hard when you go into the music business like that because you're like, man, I want to make a career out of this. I want to be professional. I want people to like me and I want them to like my music and I'm going to, you know, try to make it with integrity, but at the same time, I'm going to make sure I'm learning as much as I can and being as professional as I possibly can, treating people the way I want to be treated, you know, and just leaving a trail of sparkle dust wherever you go. Because in this business, if you have like a bad attitude, it really gets around for years. Like people just talk about how stinky this one person was or like how badly they treated people when they saw them. So I don't know, I just learned that really early. And so anyway, so with this work ethic that I was taught, you know, cleaning hotel rooms at the Robin Hood Motel, which I did from the age of 12 to like 18, it was like, okay, if I work really hard and I have 20 rooms to clean and I start at 7 a.m. and I drink a big cup of coffee, by 4 p.m., if I work really hard and take like a 20-minute lunch break, I'll probably be done those rooms and I can sit on top of the building with my Diet Coke and I can dream about the future, you know? And I wrote a song about it on my second album. It's called Saturdays. And it's all like, hot motel, stuffy inside. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. That's what music has been to me. It's been like a tool. And also, I don't know how to not write songs. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to not just have a like meditation on something and then open my mouth and a song comes out. It's just kind of like, it's hard sometimes when you're like, I'll be with my family, we'll be going somewhere and they'll be like, can you stop? Can you not write a song right now and just focus? Because literally, like I was in Kenya recently writing new songs for my album. And we'd be like, I think we were on literally like a safari or something. And all I could do was like, I was like, oh my God, I was getting so inspired. And I keep pulling my phone out and trying to like record all these melodies. But all you could hear is like boom, boom, boom of the car. Couldn't really hear them very well.
So I don't know if you all just heard her, but She gave you all a little hint. Why don't we jump ahead and talk about what's going on with you these days?
Sure.
Tell us about what you're working on.
I'm working on... Oh, actually, I'm working on a lot of things. I've been writing so much the last, 2-3 years. I kind of, took a step back and said, what kind of person do I want to be? And I want to be a creative person. So I want to just create all the time. So I kind of took a step back from doing, the label thing and artist development and all that. I took a step back and said, I just want to be an artist. I just want to be creative. So I started writing all these new songs and started writing every day again and started just getting obsessed with the whole writing idea. And I've been taking some classes of other writing styles beyond songwriting. And I'm just working on a few projects. And my new album, I'm hoping to put out that music in 2016. Yeah.
All right. New album from Nelly Furtado coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Next year.
We'll be doing on it. Yeah. And that's... Thanks.
But one thing that's coming up tomorrow is that
Yeah.
you are participating in Contemporary Colors.
Yes, I am.
Totally fascinating project that David Byrne has put together. Tell us about, how this came to be, how you got involved with it, and a bit about what you're doing.
Well, he asked me to be a part of Contemporary Color, and he called me. I was in London last August, and I was over there doing some creative stuff, and I was walking around Camden Market with my sister, and then I get a phone call from David Byrne, and I was like, whoa, this is neat. It's such a colorful place. Camden Market's colorful, and I like some $5 hat I just bought, and I'm walking around, and it's like, hello, it's David, and I want you to be a part of this thing, this Contemporary Color thing. And I'm like, really? Me? Wow, because he told me all the cool people that are a part of the show. And he said, I was like, do you want me to sing? What song do you want me to sing? He said, well, I'd like you to write something new. And I was like, great, that sounds exciting.
What did he say about what it was and what the whole project was about?
He was kind of like, it's color guard. It's this amazing folk art from these high schoolers, and they wave around colored flags, and they throw swords and rifles. And I was like, wow, it sounds cool. Because for me, I like stuff like that. I mean, I was traveling for most of my last album with a world champion Native American hoop dancer, Tony Duncan, and he just did amazing things with hoops, and we actually did a lot of things with this very specific style of hoop dancing. So I really like any type of cultural, choreography, dancing groups, folk art. This is really interesting. It's very American. It started there, but the group that I'm performing with is actually from Kitchener-Waterloo. Yeah, they're called Ventures. Yeah, and they're all girls from 14 to 19 years old, and they spend 5 days a week rehearsing color guard. And a lot of these kids are kids who wouldn't normally have been in, the cheerleading team or the marching band even, and they're attracted to color guard because it attracts a little bit more of an insular type of person, or maybe somebody with a different disposition. And that's what attracted David Byrne to this type of folk art, and he's making a documentary about it. So you're going to see, if you're at that show, I hope some people here are going to the show, because, yeah, it's on. I was at rehearsal in New York 2 nights ago, and it's phenomenal. The band is amazing. All the artists involved, from Tune Yards, St. Vincent, Devonte Hines, Adam and Mark, David Byrne. We have all these people, and they've watched their color guard group, and they've created customized music for this. So it's so creative, and it's so orchestral, and it's really beautiful. And you're going to really love it. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm bringing the bubble gum. I got a good pop song, and it's like, woo!
Oh, all right. Okay, we are going to be able to take questions. If you have any that you want to ask, there's a microphone over there, and then there's another one over there that they're holding up. So if you have any questions you want to ask, just line up. while we're getting ready for that, I want to do one thing. The other day, I thought it was kind of like a demonstration of the power that a famous pop star has, that I'm sitting at home and all of a sudden my Twitter timeline goes totally crazy. And it was because Nelly Furtado had posted another...
Hey, everyone.
Is that me or...
I don't know. This is working still, kind of.
Okay.
Hey.
Hello?
Can you guys hear me, guys and girls?
I think this is dead. Can you hear this? Okay. Anyway, sounds dead to me.
Here, you ask and I'll answer.
Nelly had posted a tweet saying, you know, putting my name in there and saying, if you have any questions, just put them here. And all of a sudden, I got like 50 questions from all over the world. And so I thought I would just do a little lightning round. We could ask a few questions that came in because they're pretty good.
Thanks, guys.
All right. By the way, they came in from Poland, Portugal, Denmark, the Czech Republic.
Wow.
Everywhere.
Hey,
All right.
everyone. If anyone's watching.
I got many variations of this question.
Okay.
Why did you change your hairstyle?
See what I mean? Oh, it's awesome. Thank you for asking that. Another case in point. Oh, I think I watched Breathless, the old French New Wave movie.
Ah, okay. Okay, next question.
I did. Let's say I did. That's fine.
Since we're on the topic of contemporary colors, what are your 2 top colors?
Blue, of course. I love blue. And yeah, blue is amazing. I like...
One more.
I don't know what my other favorite color is. What's yours?
I think I like a dark blue myself.
Oh, yeah, you've got a dark blue jacket on. No, I love blue and turquoise blue and fuchsia.
Okay, one more, and then we will open the floor. What is the biggest misconception people have about you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. What would you say after now talking to me?
I'm
Be
not
honest.
sure. I'm not.
What misconception did you have about me before you met me and talked to me?
Ooh, she's turned the tables on me. See how she does it? Well, I thought you were going to be really, really, really mean.
No, you
But you're not.
didn't. No, you didn't. No, but it's funny you say misconceptions because it's weird. I don't even know what I portray because I don't know. I don't really spend time looking at it and know what I'm portraying. But yeah, I wouldn't know that. But I know if I have a misconception about people, why it is because I met Devonte Hines. I met Blood Orange the other day, Devonte, and from seeing his videos, like I totally thought he'd be a bit different than how he is in real life, and he's so sweet and nice. And then I'm thinking, well, what? Did I think he was going to be like a jerk or something? Like what? Like what was it like? Because sometimes it's really random, like things you might see, and then you get this misconception, which is totally inaccurate. And like I said, everybody, before you say anything bad about anything you see, read the interview, watch the live show, watch a music video, read some history, right?
Do your homework.
I think that could apply to life, though, right? Everything, not just music. Just like in general, the way we judge everybody. It's awesome.
How about if we go to our first question over here?
Hi, Nelly. My name's Aida Jordão. I'm Nuno Cristo's wife.
Oh, Nuno Cristo.
Yes, who played the Portuguese guitar
How's he
for
doing?
you. He's good. He's good.
Good. Say
He's
hi
good.
to Nuno for
Still
me.
making Portuguese guitars and cavaquinhos. I'll say
Oh,
hi
that's
to him.
amazing. Here in Toronto?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
He's here.
wow.
Yeah.
How's your family in San Miguel?
Well,
We had a great evening one time.
yes, we're actually from Lisbon, but you came to our apartment in Toronto.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were from Lisbon. So tell Nuno I say hi.
I will. But my
That was a
question
different
is,
Portuguese
Do you have a
guitar
question?
I do have a question. The question is,
Nuno played really beautiful guitar on my first album.
anyway, yeah, and that was great. It was great to meet you then and to see you now. Congratulations. But the question is about Kenya. And you mentioned that you were in Kenya.
Oh, Kenya, yes.
Kenya.
Yeah.
And
Free the children.
Yeah, so could you talk a little bit about that, please?
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I didn't get there, did I? So yeah, I've been to Kenya 4 times now. I just got back from my 4th trip where I support and work with this amazing all-girls school called Olaleshwa under the Kisaruni Schools Group. And basically, they're amazing girls in a very rural region of Kenya in a place called Narok. And when I go, we sing songs together and we help build the school together. And I also was lucky enough to attend their grade 12 graduation. And these are girls that wouldn't have been able to afford school past grade 8, because in Kenya, they only pay, public education only goes till grade 8. And very few people can afford high school. So these girls are, you know, thanks for asking, because they just got their exams back, because in December, they hadn't had their exam results yet. February, they got their results, the graduating class, and they had the highest grades in the entire county. And the girls, one of the students had the highest English marks ever for boys or girls. They're beating all the boys' records, they're beating the records for the region. It's incredible. And they've taught me so much about culture. They've taught me so much about the Maasai culture, the Kipsigi culture, songs and dances and celebrations. And actually, to be honest, a lot about character. They've taught me a lot about having true character, having grace, and integrity, you know, like they work so hard, and it gives me so much hope for the future in terms of like where the world is heading when you're all the way in Kenya and you're just meeting these incredible families with so much passion and humility and honor and grace in their everyday lives. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a question over here? No? One more over here? I can't really see. Does anybody have any more questions?
One,
okay.
2, 3.
You can go to a microphone if you like.
O micro. Over here.
Tell you what, just shout it out. We'll see if we can hear you.
Thanks for being here, by the way, everyone. Hi. That's a really good question. And I performed with Antonio Carmona for the President of the Republic in the fall, and the President of the Portuguese Republic. And we had such a good time performing together that I think when I make a Portuguese album, I really feel like I want to go to San Miguel, I want to go to Lisbon. And Antonio and I were talking about curating a really special group of older Azorean folk songs, because Antonio is a big fan of Azorean folk songs, even though he's not Azorean, he's from the mainland. And so we started to brainstorm on that. But for me, I think that would require time, just like the time and energy I put into my Spanish album. Right now I'm recording an English album. And, but, you know, soon I'll be done that. And then I don't want to do that. And, you know, I love Brazilian music as well. And I'm working on a project, but it's very long-term, that involves Brazilian music and Brazilian influences, but it's a bit further down the canon. But I'm sure I'll probably maybe start talking about it at some point. Thank you.
When you're thinking about making new music, do you write a song thinking, I'm going to write a song in English right now, or I'm going to write a song in Spanish right now, or does it just come out in a certain language?
Because I'm kind of exploring some other like writing styles, like I said, like I'm exploring playwriting and storytelling right now, and studying those things. I think naturally for some of those things I'm writing more in Portuguese, but sort of, because I like to collaborate in Portuguese and Spanish, because I don't feel like I can eloquently necessarily finish a song the way I want to on my own. But in English, lately what I've been doing is really locking myself with piano and guitar and finishing a song from the start to the end. But it's a conscious choice, yeah. more English in the last little while, but occasionally it'll happen in another language. Sometimes. I'm definitely writing a lot in English lately, though, which I didn't know that I would be doing. It's just that I was so inspired. I've been writing a lot with John Congleton, and he's really inspiring to me.
Are there any? How about you in second row there? Yeah. Maybe we can get her a microphone.
Hi. Do you want to do a collab?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
I'm kidding. That's not my actual question. But I'd be down if you really wanted to.
Okay.
Was there any point that you got very nervous about becoming famous? Like when you just started, did you get ever nervous like about the paparazzi or anything like that? Did you get anxiety at all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, high life. Yeah, like on my very first tour, I remember the first experience of what it's like to have an actual fan. And it was like I think that blogging had just started, like kind of online forums. Like it was like 2000 and my song came out, or 1999 or something. And it was like so weird. I was like, oh my God, people are talking about my song. And I was living by myself in this like small apartment, and I remember there was no windows in my bedroom, so I'd never know if it was night or day. So I'd get off like a plane, and then I'd just sleep, and it was a very strange time. And I actually did have like, anxiety attacks because it was just a lot for me to handle. But I dealt with that. I realized I just needed to like breathe and like meditate a little bit. But on my first tour one time, I had a fan who was like a little bit, I don't know if he was a fan, but it was somebody who scared me. It wasn't a fan. It was just, you know, sometimes there's some people, right? In any event. And I remember I used to have nightmares on my tour bus. I'd have nightmares, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night and open the curtain and be like, and I'm claustrophobic too. So that was a little weird. But then now you get used to it. Like even I remember over the years, you know, you go to like a huge award show, like a red carpet or something. And in the car, like, you get ready, and, you know, your dress and your hair and the lipstick and the shoes. And then you're in the car, and you're like, oh, my God, why do I do this for a living? Oh, my God, this is so weird. Like, oh, I hate this. And then the car opens, and the door opens, and you're like, hello! And then you're just loving it. Oh, people are taking pictures of me. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But I'm used to it now. But, you know, and I loved Barbies when I was little. I loved dressing them up. I loved dressing up my dolls for events. And I always loved, as a spectator, to watch award shows. I almost prefer watching more as a spectator than participating in them. So I still, like, if there's an award show and I happen to be home, I don't catch all of them, but if I happen to be home and I could see one somewhere or whatever, I don't really have a regular television at home. But if I get to watch an award show, like, I went to Texas recently because I went to Texas to work on music, and I was in my hotel room, and I turned the TV on, and it was a Latin Grammys, and I was so excited. And so I sat on the edge of my bed because I didn't have to work that night, and I watched the Latin Grammys from start to finish because I just love Latin music and Latin pop so much. But I still get that feeling, you know, like, what's everybody wearing? What's this and that? So I guess that has to do with your question about paparazzi and media. I hope. I don't know.
Does that mean that you're a fan, too?
Oh, yeah, I'm a fan. I love being a fan.
What are you a fan of?
LeBron James. Yeah. No, I love basketball.
Who isn't?
I do. I love basketball. Yeah.
What about...
But I love being a fan. I love that feeling of being inspired, you know? Like, I love LeBron James and you know, like these players or these athletes, when you see them, you're just like, oh, my God. Like, there's a beauty and creativity in that I can admire. And also the hard work that goes into it and the focus. I think that's really cool.
One of the questions I got on Twitter a lot was, what music are you into lately? What's inspiring you?
I listen to, listening to just a lot of different things. Yeah, I listen to my record player the most. I listen to a lot of vinyl. My friend Aki owns the most amazing record store on Queen Street, Cosmos West. And I recommend for you to go visit sometime. I tried working the till a couple times in the last couple of years and realized I couldn't spend as much time listening to the music if I did that. But I hang out there and I just go get great records and I go home and listen to them. So right now I've got like a couple of my new Caetano Veloso vinyls I hadn't listened to in a while. I adore St. Vincent. I have all her records. I've been listening to... I listen to like older stuff too. Like I'll put on like an old Joni Mitchell album, or like Joan Baez, or like Johnny Cash, or shoot, what's another favorite? Oh, that Minnie Riperton, Adventures in Paradise. That's a great album. Yeah, just a little bit of everything that gets me excited. And yeah, I saw Prince, came Massey Hall. I have his new album. It's good. Artificial Age. That one. It's good. He was great too at Massey Hall. I love it all. I love it all. Sorry. This is what happens. They say you can only bottle the crazy for 1 hour.
Well, we have a little bit of time left. A little bit. One more question. I don't know who is up first. Fight it out between yourselves. One last question.
I hope both of them get one.
Thank you for coming, Nelly. You're even
Thanks.
better live, to be honest. I'm so amazed.
Aw, I love you.
Maybe you could pass the mic to one of these ladies in the front.
After my question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll answer it short.
So, watching your videos and now, you would make a great actress. Have you ever considered acting in a musical or a movie or something?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of acting. My biggest film role is slapping Mark Wahlberg in the movie Max Payne. I was in that movie for 2 minutes and 43 seconds. No, it's really short. But like, I was in there and that was really fun, but totally scary. And I did the CSI New York and that was fun. So yeah, I'm always kind of exploring what's out there. And I'm in the mindset because I'm more creative now instead of trying to be just like this businesswoman robot. Like I'm more into a creative zone. So I'm more open to acting now too, actually. Yeah. I'm excited by the idea of studying that again. It requires a lot of study and focus. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Oh, I feel bad. I'm getting emotionally involved in your struggle.
I saw you perform as part of the Olympics. Are you planning to do anything for Pan Am?
No, this year, no. It's for me, actually, no, I'm lying. I bought tickets to diving. Woo! I'm going to be there at diving finals. I bought my tickets online. It was actually easier. If anybody complained about buying tickets, I bought tickets. It was fine. It was easy. I have my thing from Ticketmaster. I'm going. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy it that way. I'm not participating in the creative component, but my good, dear friend Serena Ryder is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm allowed to say that. Sorry, I was like, is that a surprise? No, it's out.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Last question. Thank you for your patience.
Hi, Nelly.
Hi.
I'm Violet, and I'm Aboriginal Cree from Northern Ontario, and I just wanted to know how you came across with working with the hoop dancer.
Oh my gosh! You know, Tony Duncan is in Ottawa right now at the huge powwow that's going on. He's just texting me. He's coming to town. I hope I see him tomorrow. But working with First Nations hoops dancers, working with just all these amazing artists from the First Nations community has been probably the most powerful thing I've ever done in my whole life. And meeting all those amazing young people on the tour that I did for the Spirit Indestructible, I received like hand-woven, Cree baskets. I received like Idle No More bracelets. It was such a real thing. It was probably one of the most powerful and touching things that's happened to me my whole career. And I just, I don't know. I can't explain like the passion I have for just First Nations culture and the compassion I also feel for the struggle too. I do feel really connected to it. But yeah, Tony's families, they're great friends, and Tony just finished. I helped him put out a book about hoop dancing. It's all about him passing on hoop dancing to his son Naichi, and it's called "This Is How We Hoop Dance." And it's a great book, and he's going to give me a copy when I see him tomorrow. I'm so excited. And there's a picture of us hoop dancing in the back of it. Thank you, getting huggy. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Nelly Furtado. I'm going to ask one more question, and then I think we'll have to wrap it up.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any advice?
Anyone got any secrets? I can just reveal them right here.
Yeah. Is there any advice you would give somebody who's getting into music now, wants to be a performer? What should they know? What should they do?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Oh gosh, what I would say is learn an instrument, practice it, shut off your phone and like social media for a minute, just for 6 months, while you learn your instrument and while you write songs and lock yourself somewhere quiet and sit with yourself and find out what it is you want to say to the world and listen to that voice and shut out what everyone else is saying. And yeah, just keep on writing songs and again, strike that balance with your gut instinct of listening a little bit, keeping your message, listening a little bit, knowing who you are, taking some good advice, and knowing what the bad advice is. Because we all have that inner voice. So I feel like if you follow it and stay positive, stuff happens, I think.
Listen to your inner voice. Nelly Furtado, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ben. You're awesome. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much. Thanks, New York Times.
All right.
Everybody watching at home.
Thanks a lot. I guess that's it for us.
Yeah.